Austerity versus growth. To cut or to spend? Europe's embracing the new age of austerity, and Britain is in the vanguard, the poster child, if you like, for austerity cuts. The new government's budget has imposed the deepest spending cuts in more than 60 years, and there's the prospect of even more before the year's out. CNN's Fareed Zakaria spoke to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osbourne, and asked him why he was cutting so harshly and so soon.
We needed to produce a budget that dealt decisively with the deficit issue. That's the first point I'd make. The second point I'd make is once you've committed yourself to doing that, you then have to set out credible measures. And I think if you look at the budget that we produced, it is not a budget for 1 year, it is a budget for 4 or 5 years. Not all of the measures we announce take effect within days or weeks or even within a year. They are staggered over a 4-year period. And I think people need to understand the budget in that context, that we are seeking to set out a credible plan with specific measures over a period of time. And I think by doing that, you can see the real results. The gilt yields for the United Kingdom, the long-term interest rates that the British businesses can borrow off, have come down since the election. Now, partly that has been a flight to safety brought about by concerns about sovereign debt elsewhere in the world, but the fact that we are considered the right place to go in a flight to safety is itself, I think, a vindication of what we've done. And it's interesting to note that since the election in this country, Britain has moved more in akin with countries where there aren't big questions about sovereign debt issues, and moved away from the trend that has been followed by certain countries where there are concerns about sovereign debt issues. So you've moved closer to Germany, as it were, and further away from Greece? Yes, broadly speaking, and other European economies where people have concerns. So it's not the case that in the last 2 months every economy has found it easier to borrow or that market rates have come down. Some countries have seen their market rates go up, and I'm pretty clear that if Britain had not set out a credible plan, given we had the largest budget deficit, we probably would have seen our market rates rise. What did you think of President Obama's letter to the leaders of the G20, urging them not to stop stimulus measures? What you're doing is really a direct contradiction of what Obama urged you to do. Well, I don't think that's the case, and it's been my privilege in this job to meet the President, and it's clear from the private conversations and the public communiques that he's not trying to lecture individual countries about what they should do. He is, as are we, trying to create an international framework in which surplus countries that can do more to stimulate demand because they don't face deficit issues, should do that. And, for example, we welcome the decision that China has taken with its currency, whereas those countries with serious deficit problems need to get on and address them.